The Story of Eva Delectorskaya, Paris, 1939. Eva Delectorskaya first saw the man at her brother Kolya's funeral. In the cemetery, he stood some way apart from the other mourners. He was wearing a hat, an old brown trilby, which struck her as odd, and she seized on that detail and allowed it to nag at her. What sort of man wore a brown trilby to a funeral? What sign of respect was that? And she used it as a way of keeping her vast, angry grief almost at bay. It kept her from being overwhelmed. But back at the apartment, before the other mourners arrived, her father began to sob, and Eva found she could not keep the tears back either. Her father was holding a framed photograph of Kolya in both hands, gripping it fiercely, as if it were a rectangular steering wheel. Eva put her hand on his shoulder, and with her other quickly spread the tears off her cheeks. She could think of nothing to say to him. Then Irene, her stepmother, came in with a chinking tray holding a carafe of brandy and a collection of tiny glasses no bigger than thimbles. She set it down and went back to the kitchen to fetch a plate of sugared almonds. Eva crouched in front of her father, offering him a glass. "Papa," she wailed at him, unable to control her voice. "Have a little sip. Look, I'm having one." She drank a small mouthful of the brandy and felt her lips sting. She heard his fat tears hit the glass of the picture. He looked up at her and with one arm pulled her to him and kissed her forehead. He whispered, "He was only 24. 24. It was as if Kolya's age was literally incredible, as if someone had said to him, "Your son disappeared into thin air," or "Your son grew wings and flew away." Irene came over and took the frame from him, gently prizing his fingers away. "Mange, Sergei," she said to him. "Bois, il faut boire." She propped the frame on a nearby table and started to fill the little glasses on the tray. Eva held out the plate of sugared almonds to her father, and he took a few, carelessly, letting some tumble to the floor. They sipped their brandy and nibbled at the nuts and talked of banalities, how they were glad the day was overcast and windless, how sunshine would have been inappropriate, how it was good of old Monsieur Dieudonné to have come all the way from Neuilly, and how meagre and tasteless the dried flowers from the Lucipovs had been. Dried flowers, really. Eva kept glancing over at the picture of Kolya, smiling in his grey suit, as if he were listening to the chatter, amused, a teasing look in his eye, until she felt the incomprehension of his loss, the affront of his absence, rear up like a tidal wave, and she looked away.